In this lesson, we're going to create the lapel, the collar of our lab coat. So let's go ahead and begin by consolidating this area up here where we've kind of got this corner and it's being used to kind of make a smooth curve here. And so what I'm going to do is go ahead and just take, I can delete this, and take both of these vertices and just weld those together. Up our threshold a little bit, apply that, and that'll just give us a little bit less geometry here to worry about. Okay, and we won't have that vertex sitting on there in the middle of an edge. Okay, so let's go ahead and just modify this and shape it a little bit more. And so now we need to figure out how far down we want our lapel to come. And so I think probably we want it to kind of taper back in. So I think maybe something like that would probably work. I could select the one underneath, but I think that would be a little bit too low. So let's go ahead and choose this edge right here, something close to that. And we'll go ahead and select this edge all the way back up around the back of the neck. Okay, so we'll do something like that. And now the first thing I'll do is create an initial sort of edge so this can kind of turn and come back around the other way. So we'll go to Move using the View reference coordinate system. Go ahead and hold down Shift. Okay, and I'll just pull this up a little bit. Okay, and now let's go ahead and just shape these because they're going to want to go in a few different directions. So we can kind of pull these out a little bit. Okay, as this collar comes back out, and as it comes around here, we can kind of pull it to the side. And same thing here. Just grab these and kind of pull these out to the side a little bit. And out there. And same thing over here. Now this is going to start to taper in, so at this point, these are all going to be fairly close. But now we want to actually start to bring out the different sections. So we take a look at this. Right here, we're going to have from the back of the collar around to this section, okay, and then we've got this kind of lower section. So that's going to be kind of right in there. Okay, so what we can do is take this edge, go all the way down to the bottom. So basically those four, hold down Shift and just pull this over. Okay, and then we can do some shaping. Keep in mind that right now this is a one-sided piece of geometry, so it's black right now because this is the back side, basically the inside of our jacket. So the normals are reversed here. Okay, so once we add thickness to that, it'll solve that issue. So we want to go ahead and taper this back in. Okay, so down here I can come in and just kind of pull those points very close together. Don't think I'm going to go ahead and weld them. I just want them to be very close. Okay. And just kind of bring this out to the point where you see it kind of here. Now this is again deformed a little bit, so you have to kind of use your judgment. Both sides are deformed slightly, so we just want to create kind of the default look. And just kind of pull this out a little. And just create kind of a nice curve there. Now if we want to have a kind of a curve in here, we need to add one more line in there. So we'll go ahead and select that ring. Go ahead and do Connect. Add one segment. And we'll add that right in the middle. Okay, and then we can kind of pull that down a little. Okay, and we want to pull this maybe back into the jacket a little bit. Maybe pull this out. Okay, let's go ahead and now create the top section there. So for this, we'll go ahead and select these edges on the top part all the way around the collar. Okay, and then we'll go ahead and go to Move, hold down Shift, and we'll pull these out. Okay, we'll go ahead and pull this up a little bit. And now, again, we need to add a little bit of resolution in here and start to shape this. So we'll go ahead and select this ring. Go ahead and do connect. And now this, on the collar, back in the collar, we want the collar to kind of come up a little. So we can select some of these points and move these up. Okay, and maybe this is going to come now back down. So we just want to kind of shape this depending on what section of the lab coat we're at. Right here it's going to be this kind of collar. It's going to come down to the surface of our coat there. So we want to modify that a little bit. Okay, and it's going to kind of lay against the coat probably. And then up here we'll have our little smaller section of our lapel, and you can see what that sort of is going to look like. So give us a little bit of a guide there. Okay. And just kind of shape this a little bit more. Okay, we could take this line and move it down just a little bit so we can get a little bit more shape down here. And pull that in a little. Okay, so you start to get that kind of a shape right here. Okay, but now if we smooth this out, let's go ahead and move this over. This should be over at the origin there. Because it's going to be, we want that to connect up with the other side. So we want to get that nice and close over there. And we can move these over as well. Just kind of space them out a little bit. Okay, maybe move these back. Get some nice spacing there. And there we go. So now if we smooth this, we can see some of the issues we'll have. So I think our collar looks okay. We might need to kind of bring some of these up a little bit more, create a little bit of a higher collar maybe. Bring that whole thing up a little bit. Okay. Now when we go ahead and add our thickness to this, we're going to lose, we're going to get some of the softness in here on these edges, and we can fix that when the time comes. For now, let's go ahead and just finish shaping this. Maybe I'll pull this collar down a little bit. Alright, you can see we don't have a lot of penetration here, which is good. This can afford to maybe come down a little. Keep in mind we are going to add some thickness to this. So that'll close the gap up a little bit more that you can see in there. Alright. And so if we take a look at this, there's kind of our default lapel, and we can modify this shape a little bit. But you can see it's black just because it's basically the inside of our coat right now. We haven't added any thickness to this. So the next thing that we want to do is add things like the kind of the big pleat in the back of the coat. We've also got a section down here where there's going to be this sort of elastic band that we want to have, a little detail in there. So we'll go ahead and add some more of that detail. We'll kind of concentrate here on the back side. In the next lesson, we'll just continue on with our coat. So we'll see you then.